streaming.
I went to Flash today, and I don't know if they needed to restock, but there's some sections over there. That was like
Got some cool stuff.
I needed one of these.
Oh,
My
yeah.
other one started crapping out.
Little dongle. So, welcome
Everyone. One and all.
to Dallas After Effects User Group 2019.
First meeting, right?
First meeting.
First meeting, 2019.
Hopefully not the last. Now, for your edification, I will jump over here to the desktop, wherein lies After Effects. And we're going to talk about creating some terrain today. The first thing we're going to do is actually, you know what, so we're going to go, I'm going to show you that was the streaming page. This is the After Effects User Group page. Yes, it says 2018. No, it is not currently 2018. I'll update that.
Thank goodness.
Thanks for letting me know that I need to update that. And Jeremy's glad it's not 2018. So what we're going to do first is I'm going to show you guys something called Terrain Party.
Sounds like a down-to-earth celebration.
Hey! It is very down to earth.
That's pretty good, actually.
Thank you.
Sensation. And so Terrain Party is a map to start with. A map of a globe. And they have elevation or height map information that you can download. Okay?
Interesting.
So you can only go to a certain width or a certain area, certain size area. We're going to go to 60 kilometers over here. That's the most we can do. But actually, I'm going to take our little box here because I know that Mount Hood in the United States has an interesting look. We're going to see
Is there really a mountain in the United States called Mount Hood?
Correct. There is.
Mm-hmm.
It is just south of Mount Rainier.
Wow.
Yeah.
Just south of Mount what?
Rainier.
Okay.
Which is... And then Mount Helen is somewhere.
No, yeah, Mount St. Helens. All right, let's see if I can figure out where it is.
Yes.
And the reason we're using Terrain Party is because of the height information we can get out of this. Okay, let's do this. Maybe I'll go maps.google.com. I've heard tell that you can somehow get elevation information out of Google Maps, but I'm not positive. So, all right, so we're just next to Portland over there. That's where Marcus is moving soon.
Yes.
Sad to see you go.
I am sad to see myself go.
Good riddance. Okay, so we're going to jump down here to Portland. And
Yeah, we'll miss you.
Thank you.
there's Mount Hood Wilderness. I wonder if that's Mount Hood right there. Right in the middle. So now what I'm going to do is hit download. Call this Mount Hood. Hit OK. We're waiting for Terrain Party here to do some stuff. While we're waiting on Terrain Party, I'll also tell you that you can use the USGS map, the National Map Service.
USGS.
United States Geological Survey or something like that. You can use that as well to get terrain information. And the way you do that is a little convoluted. So I'll let you research that on your own. The last time I tried to do it, I did end up getting some information out of it, but
CIA
wasn't.
showed at my door.
Yeah, no. I located the Zodiac killer.
It's good that something can kill Zodiac.
Okay, so there we go. We got our meeting folder here, and we'll do the assets folder. I'm just going to grab this over here and see which one of these I need. They can be a little bit confusing because some of them are, that says possibly master, raster, so that looks pretty good. That one's fuzzy, not exactly sure why it's fuzzy. And I'm just really trying to get what is probably the best quality image of these. And I think I'll just do merged. And go over here to desktop, user group, 2019, January. Hey, there's that as well. Oh, yeah, we gotta look at that. Okay.
Did I just see something that said Popeye?
Yes, you did. Or do you follow the, I think you do follow the After Effects user on Facebook.
Yep.
You should have seen it on Facebook. I'm hoping you did anyway. Okay, so now I have this Mount Hood.
Well, I was already telling you about it. No, I didn't.
Okay, we'll look at it in a minute then.
Okay.
Now what I'm going to do is drag this guy into After Effects, and we'll just create a, call this Mount.
A new composition.
Mount Hood. And it's going to be probably 1280 by 720. So it fits in my screen here. And I'm going to create a new solid. I can also do that here, layer new solid. I'll just let it be the comp size.
I know what you should call this comp. You should call it Mountain in the Hood.
Mountain in the Hood. And I'm going to go to trap code and mirror. Okay, so we'll start in mirror, and then we'll, as time permits, we'll back off from mirror. So here we have our mirror layer, and mirror is very exciting. You can do wonderful multiple things with mirror, but today we're only focusing on terrain stuff. And I'm just going to organize my folders a little bit, like that. And I'm going to grab this height map and stick it in this layer. You can see that it is 1081 by 1081. And actually I'm going to pre-comp it. So I'll do pre-compose here and call this Mount Hood height pre-comp, because we can do some stuff with it later. I don't want to open it. I'll just leave attributes. I'm going to turn it off. And I'm going to freeze frame it, because freeze framing your pre-comps, pre-comping stills and freeze framing can make your renderers faster. If you just have a still, a bunch of stills in a comp, and you try to render it, depending on their size and what you're doing with them, it could slow your renders down. If you pre-comp your stills, freeze frame them, then After Effects doesn't try to read them, load them into the RAM every frame. It just loads them once and doesn't deal with them anymore. So it speeds your renders up.
Oh. Thank you very much.
Yes, 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 yes. Okay, so in mirror here, we are going to, because I know this is 1081 by 1081, this height map, I'm going to come in here and just make this 1081 and see what we get. My vertices, we'll start with, we'll just start with 1081 and 1081. So 1081 wide, 1081 high, and then my vertices are the exact same pixel ratio. Now it's kind of cool that we have triangles for our tessellation, and we don't need our repeater yet, but we do need our fractal, okay? So in the fractal, I'm going to set my amplitude layer, just the height or the amplitude as Mount Hood. Okay, so you can already kind of see that something's going on. Rotate this a little bit. You can see that something's actually happening. And if I take my frequency, so the frequency is the it's like the tightness of the fractal. So it's actually giving me a fractal now. I don't want the fractal. I'm just going to set it to 1. Okay. Now you don't see much because my amplitude's still pretty low. I'll raise my amplitude. There you can see it's offsetting. But it's offsetting actually the wrong way, so I can deal with that in 2 ways. Hey, Jonathan.
What's up?
What's up?
I can deal with the amplitude in 2 different ways. First, we want to be able to see what's going on. So for my, not my material, for my shader, instead of density, which is kind of a see-through and whatever you see, wherever the majority of the pixels line up, that's where you see more information. I'm going to go to flat, and for blending, I'm going to go normal. Okay, so now we have a little bit more interesting look here. Okay, so it's looking more and more like a terrain. One mistake I would make previously is allowing my frequency to be up a little bit, and what that does is it kind of adds an ocean ripple kind of effect. So if you're just going for a straight terrain, set your frequency of 1. That'll take care of you. Now, as you can see, it looks like it's sinking into itself. So I can either do negative 800 here, or I can go inside my height map and invert it. Either of those will take care of that. And so now it's at least looking kind of interesting. In order to get in and move around it like I want to, I'm going to put a camera in. I did Shift Option Command C, or I can also come up here to New Camera like that. And I'm going to put a null in. There's my null. And I'm going to make my null 3D by clicking that box and attach the camera, which is already 3D, to my null. I'll hit R to twirl down the rotation for my null. And now I can rotate my null and my camera rotates along with it. So now my camera, if I change my position of my camera, I can still orient my null around my mountain. Now, something I might do here is take this back to 0. Let's see what this does. And I'll set my null kind of in the middle of the mountain right there. And adjust my camera view If I do this, like so, get myself lined up right on the mountain, like that. You guys can see that, okay? I'll change the look of the texture in just a minute. But now I can rotate. Oh, I don't want to rotate. I want to rotate Z. Now I'm rotating basically around the mountain.
Does attaching the camera to null just give it more versatility of movement,
Yeah.
make it easier? Okay.
Okay, so let's do a little bit with the texture here. Inside mirror, I can actually create a material or use a material already in here. It loads up some settings. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe planet. Let's see what that looks like. Oh, that didn't do what I wanted. So we'll go back to flat and normal. Ambient occlusion, we'll turn that on so we can see the divots and stuff. And I will add just a color in here. Let's try this. And I'm going to add a couple of lights. So new light. Point light is good. All right. So now it's starting to look pretty snappy.
Yep.
And I'm only at half resolution. So if we zoom in a tad and go to full res, and you can kind of see it's starting to look pretty cool.
Wow. Cool. It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. All right. So you can see some of these little little grungies over here, like this. What I'm actually going to do now is go find a texture, and just for fun, so you guys know this exists, we'll go to cgtextures.com, and you can set up a free account and download a certain number of textures and stuff every day. So yeah,
Really?
they limit you, but
You can only download half of the texture.
no, they're the
Pixel a day.
low res. You can get low res textures.
They'd only have half their fingers if that was the case.
Yeah. So what I want to do is see if I
Daily
can
limit's pretty generous, I feel. That's awesome.
Yeah. Maybe let's see.
Yeah, man.
Is there a license thing, or you can use
You
it?
can use them.
Nice.
Wow.
I want gravel. What do I want? Special.
This is going to be my new Unsplash.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
amazing.
it's different than Unsplash.
I know, but I
And-
just might
and
go to
pixels.
for just.
Yeah. Okay. Oh no, I don't want landscapes.
Yeah, so it's free photo. How would you explain it?
Unsplash.com is just free, incredibly high quality photos of
Yeah.
just anything.
What's it called?
People usually want
Unsplash.
you to like give them credit.
Unsplash.
but-
Okay.
Yeah, tons of photographers. Yeah, I
So
use it
for
all the
this
time.
guy,
I use Pixabay.
Pixabay.
Yeah.
yeah, Pixabay and Pexels. Mm-hmm.
Pixabay.
What do I want to do here, guys? Let's see. This is what I want.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah,
Okay,
not
there's
yet.
concrete.
Pixel is
Gravel.
they.
There's roads,
What
cobblestone.
was the other one you said?
Smooth cliff.
Pixels. Oh, pixels.
And
Not pillows. Oh, correct.
These are really nice.
yeah, these are good looking
Nice.
textures.
So is this just textures.com or CG textures?
CGtextures.com.
Well, why does it say textures.com up there?
You just get to it easy by going to CGtextures.com.
Okay.
Okay, so if you look here, this is the texture. There's an occlusions map. There's so this is called albedo. This is the displacement, and this is the normal map. We can talk about using normal maps in a minute. I'm going to, man, I don't think I want to get that one. Let's go over here to rock. Because I will download one of these rock textures for later. This is a pretty grungy rock texture. Which one do you guys like? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
1. So here's 1. Looks pretty crazy. And these are seamlessly tileable textures.
Nice.
And looks like I downloaded this already. So I need to go find it in a minute. But I'm going to download this 1024 by 1024 normal map as well. And I'll jump over here, drop that there. And then I will go to my desktop and get my other cliff rock. Is this it? No, that's not it. There it is. Those two. And because I'm already here, I can get my texture that I like. That's it right there. This guy with just a tiny bit of texture in it. So we'll go ahead and import all of those guys like that. And I can take my rock cliff, pull it in here. I'll turn it to invisible. Select my mirror layer and go to texture rock cliff. Okay. So now I just need to mess with it a little bit. I'm going to pre-compose rock cliff. And I'll make it 2048 by 2048. But instead of having it be that big, I'm going to set my anchor point and my position all at 0 to get it up in the corner like that. I'll scale it down to say 25%, and then I'll do a stylize CC reptile and just repeat it out like this to the right, 6182 and down, 6182.
I love this function.
Like that. All right. So now I have a tiled image. If I jump back over here, you can see that it changed my
Image to nothing.
image a little bit. Well, yeah, it looks like nothing. Increase my light. Like so. And now we have more or less a terrain. Okay. I will show you a few things that'll make this look better. So in amplitude here, I have individual amplitude and just altogether amplitude. Mir is trying to do some fun things. It's trying to give me extra that I don't need. So it is displacing on the X, it's displacing on the Y, and it's displacing on the Z. And I only need the Z axis because the way Mir is set up, this axis that's pointing up with the mountain, that's the Z axis. So let's see what happens if I set X and Y to 0, okay? And I'll just move my camera a tiny bit. Like that. Okay, so now I like the height of my mountain,
Yeah.
but all this other stuff around here looks a lot like Mars, and I don't particularly care for that. So what we're going to do is save this as terrain. Terrain. How about terrain? Like that. And then we're gonna lock this guy, double click my height map, and scoot him over to the side like that. Okay, so I've locked them both in. I'll zoom out a little bit here. Can you guys still see that?
Yep.
Zoom out a little bit here. And obviously the super bright white area here is the highest point here, right? So what I can do is start adjusting this to my liking. I'll put in my solid back here, and I'll set a generate fill to 50% gray. I think if I just go that, almost 150, right? Nope.
128.
128. Oh yeah, 128. 28. Perfect. All right, so now I have my black here, like that. See what happens when I move that in front. Now I'm going to just do a little bit of masking. Here. Like that. Just make my solid the correct size. And it looks like I probably need my solid to be darker. That, okay. And then I'll just hit F to adjust the feather on here. Like so. And I'm just going to select that color right there. So now my mount hood looks a lot nicer. Let's go down to half res. Okay. I've started controlling my map over here by feathering that information, but it kind of looks goofy on the edges because it's that repeating pattern. So we'll go back over to the height map. And here I will, let's just make sure I have my solid as the 1081 by 1081. And I'll hit OK. And I'm just going to, actually I could delete that guy and just replace by dragging and holding Option like that. And zoom down into this area here and just see what we can do. So, pop quiz. What can I use to get kind of a mountainous terrain height map that's already built into After Effects?
The fractal?
Yes,
noise.
fractal noise.
Hey.
I was starting a countdown, but you guys got it. All right, so I dropped fractal noise on there, and look what happened. Bam! All right, so that is bonkers. We don't want that.
Completely
I mean, maybe you want that. I don't know.
bonkers.
Something that can help a little bit is just turn it to dynamic and scale it up. Okay, so that's a little better.
Wow, that's much nicer.
And then if I adjust down like that, my opacity, I start to get kind of rolling hills off there. And maybe this guy just needs to be a little darker to take the lift off of that over there. And just so you can see what fractal noise can do, I'll change this to invert like that, and I'll make my complexity 10. Okay, so we're getting kind of interesting stuff out here. And maybe, what do you say we put on another fractal noise and set it to soft light and rocky. So now, just my complexity down to like 2. That, and my opacity down a little bit. Like that. So I'm controlling some really interesting looks over here. The outskirts there. And I can also control that a little bit with, we'll zoom in a little bit so you can see what's going on. Control it with the contrast. So if I take the contrast down, the severity decreases. Like that. And let's do one more thing. I'm going to duplicate and get rid of the fractal texture, just kind of reset it all. And go complexity 10 and scale 1. Contrast down and opacity down. So I've got these little bitty, this little bitty texture here, like that. And if I put this on top of everything, like so, it starts to give me a nicer little relief like that. You see how that changed at all?
So it's not so smooth.
Yeah. So it's a little more broken up. The
Rougher.
difference, yeah, the difference is, and I'll take that off and show you. The difference ends up being that it. What's the best one? See how it's kind of pixelated here?
Yeah.
Depending on how tight I can make it and how soft I can make it. It breaks up that pixelation and makes it a little more pleasing to the eye. Now it's possible that Mount Hood is a little tall there. It looks a little bit like Mount Doom. So let's go back here.
So how do we fix that?
We'll just go minus 600 like that. And now,
That's skiable.
just for fun, yeah, that's pretty skiable. Let's talk about our texture. Okay. So this is our displacement map. And I'm going to bring it back over here and then close it. And in here we have our rock texture. I have this locked, so I can just double click. I'll lock this one and go here with it. And then we can maybe paint a little bit on here. Just to maybe help us out a little bit, I'm going to put my Mount Hood height map on there as a template. Actually, instead of that one, I'll put these in my pre-comps folder. And put my height map in here instead. Like that. So now I can maybe make a snow cap on here. I'll lock that guy and zoom in. Let's just see what happens here. Like that, and I'll turn that off. Hey, there's our snow cap.
Nice.
Okay. So now we can even adjust that and see, get a better look on it. Like so. And then, maybe the mountain is like this on the way down the edges, down the slopes. And I can go out to my stock photos that I have and my seamless images. I'll grab some grass. Like that. Put the grass in here. Oh yeah, pretty big grass.
Yeah, I'd say so.
So it's amazing how
It looks like
the
a hip pile.
yeah, it's amazing how the size of the texture works against the size of the terrain, right?
Yeah.
So maybe I'll take this down to even further, 12.
You mean like killing the illusion of how massive it's supposed to look?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And then I can do my CC rep tile again. Actually, for this one, I'll show you CC. No, it's not CC. It's just motion tile, because motion tile will launch out in both directions, like that. That should give me height in there as well. There we go. I can adjust my tile height width like that. All right.
Can we fix how tile-y that looks?
Yes. So part of what fixes that is the extra stuff that's in the shot. And part of what fixes it is the just cutting up this stuff. So I'll use that as my guide and set up a mat, or a mat on here. Like that. And I think yeah, I think maybe I need to do a track mat. So I'll just put this layer here. Nope, I want it to be the correct size. So I'll do 2048 by 2048, like so. Paste my mask on there, like so. It was really big, so I'll scale it down.
Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. And I'll use that as my track mat. Except I need it like that.
I see.
Now, pull this in, that. So we're starting to get better slope, better gradation on here. Of course, the larger you make your maps, the more detail you're going to get in mirror. I'll just put a little bit of levels on here. Like so. I could probably even, let's take off reptile. maybe I'll do that and put Reptile back on at like 200. So gotta make it way bigger than that. All right, so 2600. So okay. So now we're looking kind of interesting here. All right. We can get into more things like the repeating tile. We can change that up a little bit with turbulent displace. So it doesn't look quite as repeating.
That's pretty cool.
Somebody's hands get cold. Come warm them up above my computer because it is cranking right now.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Is that your newer one?
no,
No.
this is mid 2012.
Ah, nice.
So let's see. That's kind of fun. We can at least try one more thing so it doesn't like those buffers. Okay. Very sorry, After Effects. Very sorry. We could even go over to Google Maps satellite and wonder. Let's try that USGS national maps. See what it look like. See what it look like. All right, so we're gonna launch this application. We'll see if it'll give us Mount Hood. Go right there. And topographical. No, I don't want topographic. I want imagery.
Didn't know this existed.
It's pretty good. Pretty cool. If it works, I mean, it may not. It may not do what I want it to do.
Yeah. I believe Google Maps has like a mode where you can strip out all the overlays and just get raw terrain, but
Yeah.
I forget how to get there.
There's topo. That's interesting. There's shaded relief, imagery only. I don't know why it's given me this green overlay. It's not a satellite image.
It's weird.
Not sure why there's such a thing as blank map. That's really interesting that it's just a green screen.
What a waste.
Yeah. All right. So you're saying I can go here
There's I forget what it's called.
and maybe strip out this stuff.
It's not. It's a.
See if I know I've done it before. Something like this. We used it for a client video.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wish I could remember.
It's all right.
I don't believe it's built into the normal Google Maps. Like it's like a different URL that uses. It's by Google, but it's a different portal.
Google
So on the
Maps
Maps. One.
without labels. Snazzy Maps.
It might be. Well,
Oh, you know what? There is another.
it
Let's
may
see.
be. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Mapbox.com. We're just going all over the place here. Maps. Get started.
It's mapstyle.withgoogle.com.
Okay.
And I'm not sure this will work for our purposes, but if you want to check it out.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
Oh.
Wow.
If that's Mount Hood, I'm super zoomed in.
Mount Hood's parking lot, main attraction.
Yeah.
yeah.
There's Mount Hood.
Oh wow. It is the parking spot. Oh, that is super zoom. Wow. That's cool.
All right. So,
Those shadows might screw it up though.
like, I mean, you know, why not? Let's just try it. Got it. And I don't know if I can move that stuff out of the way. I'll just do a screen grab here. Try and keep it fairly square. Like that. And I'll open preview, new, and close, and that'll save it. Mount Hood. Now don't go doing this unless you have permission. We're doing this just as an example. After Effects, and we'll drop this into here. Like that.
Wow.
Just turn all those other guys off. And maybe I reptile this guy. Or motion tile. So let's just go back over here. Back to our Mount Hood. We'll look at the full res and just zoom out some. There we are. Got us a look at Mount Hood.
That's pretty cool.
In the hood.
In the hood. So we also can use more lights inside here, which is very, very helpful. And even like, you know, light from one direction and fill from another. Maybe not with a puke light. Like so. There you go. Not bad. Boy. So the last thing maybe we'll do with this one is just reduce the height so it's not as severe. And we can get maybe a couple of keyframes here for the camera. Oh, you know what? I'll do point of interest. That. Zoom in a tad. There we go. And we can move over here. And change our null situation. Like so. And move the camera in. There we go. Do some easing. We'll show you full frame, full res. And this is pretty fun.
It's awesome.
Pretty fun.
Aye, let it be.
Be pretty fun. Yeah.
So I know I wasn't here right at the beginning, but I assume that this is the main function of Mirror is just to take normal maps or bump maps and create terrain out of them, or
No.
this is just one use?
This is a use of Mirror.
Oh, okay.
There are many different uses for it.
So
It isn't just a near terrain.
Hey,
sir.
well played. Okay, that is kind of what I wanted to do for this segment. Maybe I'll try one more thing here, just for fun. See if I can get down here like ground level and show you one more fun thing from trap code. So we'll go there like that, and then let's twirl a tiny bit more. Like so, okay. Now we're going to go back to CG textures. Let's see if we have a HDR sky.
I was just about to suggest that.
Yeah. So CG skies is the thing, and it's possible that we'll be able to get a free one. Let's see. Sky types. I saw free. Testing. Sample. some Blender stuff. That's pretty good. At some
Is that
point,
skyboxes?
well, no, at some point there was a free one or two we could get. I don't know. Let's go back out to my stock imagery, sky domes. Nope. Let's see if this one will work. That and come here. What's my size here? Can do that. I'll do trap code horizon and drop my sky clouds in. And in horizon, I will set sky clouds like that. And looks like it's a little big, huh? Well.
Pretty cool.
We'll just set it like that. It's at full, so that must not be a very high-res image. Let's try this, though. I'll go to Video Copilot Orb.
That's a good idea.
And we will set the surface to back and the map to sky clouds. And go there. And let's see if we can get our lighting correct.
And get rid of that blackness up there.
Where's that coming from?
It's probably coming from the lights I have in here.
It's like somebody cut a big triangle out of the sky.
So that's a little closer. Let's see. Shrink. Okay, not perfect, but we'll see. This is going to be great. Trap code horizon, that's what it's called, is supposed to take care of this problem. But apparently did not.
Does
Well,
this
that's
really
just upsetting.
What if you just make the orb larger? Will that mitigate it a little bit?
It might. Mm-hmm.
That's better.
A little better. This is how they did the Paramount logo.
Version 1.0.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
All right.
It's actually not a bad little vista there.
Wonderful,
Nice.
wonderful vista.
Any way to make the surrounding land a little bit brighter green?
Mm-hmm.
It was a dark time.
It was an overcast that day. And Jimmy was on his swing along. His brother hadn't been home for days.
Smokes.
Dark time.
But turned out he was just at camp the whole summer.
Getting hit by a gamma ray bomb.
That just got dark.
Yeah. All right.
Now you better make sure you respect him, or
A little
else.
bit of fun there.
Good.
Okay, so we also have the ability to, let's do one more thing here, just to look at the way to do some height map stuff as well. So we'll just go do some water. 1820 by 1080. Go again to mirror.
I'll be back because that is exactly what I need right now.
Okay, water. See you in a minute.
Thank you.
And we will create a new comp. That'll be our water displace. Like that. And let's see, I have a 2048, that'll work. And I'm gonna go noise and grain. Fractal noise. And we will put it to dynamic twist to start with. And maybe make it a little bit bigger, like so. Go back to water, put our water displace in here. For geometry, we'll do 1024. For vertices, 1024, 1024. And our fractal is going to be our water displace. Again, we'll take frequency down to 1, and just for time's sake, I'll put in our camera and just zoom in like this. Okay, so now put a light in and change the water layer, the mirror shader to flat. Normal. And okay, we have our ambient occlusion on. Texture is, let's see, material. We're going to do chrome. Maybe we'll see if that works. And with our amplitude.
It looks like sky-colored mashed potatoes.
We'll just go back to normal and flat, like that.
Cool.
And our color, we could probably start here. And even do some extra color with another layer, like a pre-comp. Let's do -140. Yeah. All right, so now I'll lock this, open up the water displace here so we can see what's going on. And let's see, dynamic progressive. Inverted, like that, and I'm going to cycle evolution 3. That we'll just do 360 times 3 divided by 5 times time. Okay. So now let's see. We'll take our contrast down again. Let's add another fractal texture. For this one, we'll do overlay and make it less tight, make it big.
Oh.
Like this. Maybe we just need to go 400, 600, and 300, like that. And we'll do the same cycle evolution. 3, is that what I did for here? Yeah, 3. And copy that expression, paste it in here, evolution there. So now, just to see where we are,
I'm blue.
That's actually pretty incredible. Wow.
Neato.
and then just for fun's sake, however fun you may think this is.
Are you kidding? This is so fun.
I'll take my transform turbulence offset and set a keyframe here, like that. And that was not the correct thing. Go like that. Come back over. And let's do a little RAM preview.
Are you doing a sort of RAM preview that skips every other frame?
Yes, Shift 0 on the number pad.
My goodness.
We'll skip every other frame. Just natively it does that. You can also go into your preview settings and tell it how many frames you want it to skip.
I'm so using it. If you try to not know about that.
All right, so there we have some happy fun times. And it appears...
Really? Are they really happy fun times? Because they look
No,
blue.
no, they are. They're super happy fun times.
Guaranteed.
They do look blue.
Now I should be able to see my specular here. That, and probably need to have another guy lighting this. Excuse me. From in front as well. I can make that happen. There we go.
That is unbelievable.
Now that looks good.
I'll go back here and adjust my small water detail like that, and maybe even do one more of those as a much smaller scale. Maybe too small. There we go. So back to water. A little much, a little fast. Slow it down just a tad. Let's see what we get. There was, there's other things we could do in Mir, the displacement maps to get, like, create our own mountains to get different looking mountain ranges, and I used some turbulent displace to get some stuff to happen.
Nice.
Let's see what this looks like now. Okay. That's not so bad, I think.
Pretty cool.
You guys agree?
Oh yeah,
Nice.
Looks a little bit like water.
that's really awesome actually.
That's just 3 levels of fractal texture.
You channeling a different aspect of it, like,
Yeah.
basically.
Okay. Now, Jeremy,
Yes.
we have another way to use our height map. Okay. So what we're going to do is go to make another comp here. I call this, let's see, 1920 by 1080. We'll call this AE height, like that. And I'm going to put in this 1081 by 1081. I'm going to color it. What color, Jeremy?
That light blue, yeah.
Got it. Okay, so I'm going to put in camera. It's okay. I know to make it 3D. And we'll twirl like this. Okay. So now I've got my pre-comps here. Mount hood pre-comp. Like that. And so if I just solo that, you can see that it is pretty dark and goes to the light. So what I can do is with my mount hood look here, I can start off these in 3D space, and I'm going to cut them and move them back in space. Okay, so every time I cut, I'll move back, let's say 3 pixels on Z. So I'll go position here, and my I is going to equal index -1, so I'm going to get 0, and then I'm going to multiply that times 3. That's the number of pixels I'm going to go back on the Z axis. Okay, so now I'm going to say value plus, because I go away from the camera, and plus 0 for the X, 0 for the Y, and I for the Z. That's right now in this particular one, it's going to multiply the index, subtract 1 from the index, giving me 0, multiply 0 times 3, it stays right where it is. Okay. The next one will multiply index times 1, it'll give me 3 pixels, then 6 pixels, etc. Okay. So you can see that it extrudes itself down, right, as we do that. And for this first one, I'm going to go transition gradient wipe, and we're going to use mount hood height. And our softness, we don't want it too soft. And we're going to go pretty far like that. Okay? So now, we'll just copy, paste, like that, paste, paste. We're just growing this thing. We grow as we go. That. And I can do probably an expression that would do this for me. So every time
what kind of expression would that be?
Well, every time I duplicate, it can say, okay, what is your, what's your index? And for that index, I will.
Why don't we try that?
Okay. Let's do it. So here we have gradient completion. It needs to start at 70 roughly, and then every time I duplicate, I need to subtract 8 or so. So we'll say I equals index -1. And I'll do times maybe 6. Let's try 6. I'll do value value minus I, like that. So right now it's not subtracting anything. Okay, now if I put a light in there, let's see what happens. All right, so that's not enough. I'm going to go back like this and adjust our expressions. So the gradient white, maybe we did too much. And this one we didn't do enough. Do 5. That's for the position. Like that.
Brilliant.
So now I can also go perspective, bevel alpha. And I'll just copy that and paste it to all of those guys like that. Now for my point light, change what that is. Okay, see that?
Mm-hmm.
Depth there.
That is cool. Looks like a 3D printing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so now watch this. Grab all those guys and I'll say not hood PNG and need to get rid of. I'll just copy that. And I'll get rid of that. Get rid of all the effects and paste like that.
Oh, that's crazy. If you view it perfectly from the side, can you like see between the?
Yeah.
Yep.
I can also do a little bit more softness on there. And because all of my effects are based on the expression, if I copy the effect and paste it, then it affects everything. I don't like what it did though. Let's do less of a position and copy that expression, paste it on everything else. So we have less of a relief, but then we can take the camera, zoom in here like this, or move in like that. And I can even like zoom in and out on it. And that is what it looks like at full res right there. Okay. So let's do a little move on the camera. Just see what it looks like. The more, obviously, the more layers you do, the more detail you have in your relief, the more, the less of an expansion you do on your gradient wipe, the more detail you have on your edges. So it's all about how precise you want to be, but you can definitely do this with regular old After Effects.
Pretty cool.
Yep. While this is rendering, so Jeremy is still on 5.5 or just CS5?
5.5.
5.5?
Still stuck at CS 5.5.
Okay. So if anyone has any leftover CS6 copies that are Windows based, let Jeremy know. He would love to have that.
Yes, please, please. I would.
Okay.
Thank you so much. It would mean the world.
All right. So there you go. How about that?
Looking good. Mountainously good.
Cool.
And so even with that.
I think we've reached our peak here.
Oh!
Excellent.
That's where we end it.
All right, guys. Hey, you can have all this.
We're out. I'll do one more version of this. And we can, I'll delete. The good thing about using expressions on this is that I can delete and go back to just duplicating all of them again. And, at some point, actually, if I can get even a little bit tighter on this position here. It starts to take up a lot of resources, but, you know what I could also do is pre-comp mount hood texture like that. Go into AE height and freeze frame it. Time freeze frame. All right, so now that I've freeze framed it, the render should ease up a little bit. Just for fun, you can also do this with regular old fractal texture. And if you do this with fractal texture, you can get some interesting looks. You can even do a kind of a fuzzy fractal texture and get some volumetric clouds.
Really?
That my friend is correct, and I will show you what it looks like. So if we go over here to load more,
We're kings of the mountain.
this here is the thing that I'm doing now, built out with a fractal texture.
Interesting.
And I believe I do some clouds here in a sec. Maybe.
Oh, come on. Don't
Yeah.
disappoint me.
Here's some clouds coming up. In 3,
Two.
2, 1, 0. So those clouds are built using this technique.
Not too bad.
And you don't see the edges because the camera's not angled to the edge. And
Cool.
Marcus, you were looking for the text animators. I think
Heroes.
it is under Echo Videos.
Is that 3D? The Heroes video?
There's some.
I have to go to your.
It is not in 3D, but there's
The one next to it.
the effects here. What now? Sorry.
That
This?
one, yeah.
No, this one I used a lot of mocha and a lot of masking. I had to freeze. See all their cloaks blowing around. I had to cut them all out and then freeze all their cloaks. And then
Wow.
but the video you're looking for
Yes.
is under Echo Videos. And it's just a generic, this is what I start with when I start using text animators.
Oh, okay.
These are the settings that I go through just about every time
Okay.
to start with text animators.
Got it.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah. And here's our render. Depending on your axis, it's not too bad.
Oh, that's good.
It's actually very
Cool.
impressive.
I wonder if we can do.
Using the bump map effect would be pretty limited, right? Because can you use what am I saying?
Displacement?
Displacement map. Yeah.
Yeah, it is definitely limited. There's something that could possibly work out for you, and we can even look at that next time.
Oh no worries.
But-
I reiterate, we are kings of the mountain.
Kings of the Mountain. This is I just added a vector blur on there to kind of tighten up those edges. It's a little more stylized.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, it looks pretty weird.
Forget about the vector blur.
Yeah, forget about it.
I don't think I even knew about the vector blur.
Vector blur
There's
is
so many blurs.
Vector blur is your friend.
You know, one time I was looking for blur and I don't remember because
Let's go. I'm gonna do one
it
more.
was all blur.
It was all blur.
It's all a blur.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go fast box blur, put it like 2, and then I can go back to sharpen at like 20. One more. It is not sharpening like I want it to. There. So it is possible with limitations to do relief maps inside After Effects. After Effects proper. It's cooking hard over here. But, you know, it looks pretty good. You put some interesting treatment on it. You put some stuff, atmospherics in the foreground, whatever. Not so bad.
Wow.
Yeah. All right.
Cool.
Was there anything else? Yeah, there was one more thing. Just because, and you know, again, Jeremy, very sorry. Hopefully, at some point soon, you'll be able to get the free plugins and stuff from Video Copilot. Until then, I'll at least show you these things.
So Adobe acquired another company. I'm not really familiar.
Yeah, I think it's like a Substance Designer. So with that CG Textures website, I'm going to go in here and light this ball here. Like so. And put a little rim back there. Like that. And inside this orb here, I have my diffuse map, which is my albedo. And I also have a bump, which is going to be my height map. And I'm going to go -10 on there. Pretty serious, maybe not 10. And we're going to go UVs and take our UVs up to like 5 and 5, or maybe 8 and 8 for the repeat. Put a camera in here. And let's move in like that and zoom out. Because I want to kind of fill the frame with it. So now with orb, I can adjust my specular a little bit and my glossiness. Spread that reflection out, or that specular out. And with my lights, you get kind of an interesting look. Now also have, you'll see that I have a bump map and a normal map.
It's perfectly normal.
Perfectly normal. The normal map uses RGB values to indicate which direction the polygon faces would be facing, or whatever vertex would be facing. So I can also go in here and say I want to use normal map like that. And it's possible that you're going to get a better height displacement from your normal map, like that. So here we go. Let's just move this guy back out here a little bit so we can fill in.
Does this plugin allow you to move into the inside of the sphere?
You can go to the inside like that.
That is cool.
Yep. And I can even, let's see, I can distort here and go optics compensation and just kind of flatten the rock out a little bit like that. And then I can rotate the sphere to make it look like I'm moving along the wall, right? With my camera, cool. I can check, different places around here. Maybe move up. Get a little bit of extra parallax on the move.
Wow. You sound really excited.
Wow.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
So this is orb, and this is a little bit of using the CG textures. Okay. I highly recommend checking it out. You can also, with the CG textures, do glass or plastic looking stuff. So we'll take take our height map in here and probably need to do some form of color. So we'll just put color on there like that. And oh, I need to probably do a square because my texture is square. And I'll put plastic on here. Stylized or glass. Let's do glass first. And I'll use my rock texture. Like that. And I can add lights in here. Use the AE light.
That's another thing. Since I don't have CS6, which supports Cycor FX HD, I
Yep.
can't use AE lights.
Yep. It's a bummer. I think I need to go.
Is AE Light a plugin or a native?
It is native after CS6.
Oh,
But so this is just a way to get a kind of a bump relief.
After CS6? Does that
And it's in CS6, yeah.
Okay, good. Thank goodness.
Okay, cool. You guys get it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Nice.
Love it.
And multiple lights as well. So you can fill some kind of cool effects in there. Let's go like that. Yeah. Cool.
That's pretty dope.
It's awesome.
Cool.
All right, so we looked at lots of different ways to get tech terrains and relief maps.
Not terrain on anyone's parade.
Oh,
Not to rain on anyone's terrain party.
You're on point today, man.
That was very good.
You guys rock.
Whoa! Hey!
Ooh. Yeah.
Next time you come up with a pun, you should be a little bolder.
Oh!
I've been taking you guys for granted. What? All right. So there you go. Mount into hood. Right there. We'll end on that Paramount logo. And I'll say thank you guys for coming. Look forward to seeing you next time.
Okay.
And we will continue our year of awesome in 2019. All right.
Thanks, Trent.
Yep.
Cool.